Good morning, everybody. My name is Sean Cunial. I'm one of the principals of Lumaten, which is a commercial strategy and shopper research business. So you can see that up there, thank you. Over the next 15 minutes, I'm going to take you through how we use Immersive VR to win on shelf, help suppliers win on shelf, and grow revenue.
Shopper360 is a breakthrough platform for shopper research, delivering fast, accurate predictions and game-changing visibility of the unconscious drivers influencing shoppers at the point of purchase. Our highly lifelike retail environments allow participants to shop naturally, while the platform observes and records their entire journey at increments of 10 to 100 captures per second. This highly granular data covers store navigation, precise eye tracking, all interactions and purchase outcomes. Shopper360's breakthrough capabilities are made possible by the intersection of 4 disciplines. Vast commercial experience and proven models from cognitive psychology, combined with our bespoke technology, has created a totally new lens for understanding shopper behaviour. The platform has enabled powerful new methodologies that were not previously possible. Our highly experienced commercial team play an active role in the design of each study, and then work with the resulting insights to ensure they lead to value-building solutions for our customers. Shopper360 is a game changer for any business seeking to optimize shopper influence at the point of purchase.
Okay, so that gives you a bit of a taste for what we do. To win on shelf, you really need to take into account 3 key things. The first is, who are we talking to? And this is obvious, probably obvious to many of you, but for those who it's not, we need to be very cognizant of the fact that we're talking to shoppers, okay? And shoppers may or may not be the consumer. So think about a mother buying for the family, or a partner buying for their spouse, or a flatmate buying for their total household, okay? Shoppers are the choosers. Their decisions are primarily driven by relatively practical elements, and they're reinforced by emotional variables. Versus consumers who you build a brand health with, brand love, and people have an affinity with that brand and therefore desire that brand. So the first thing is, we're after the choosers. That's who we're talking to. Now, the second thing is context. Context is critical to winning on shelf, because in the retail environment, as many of us know, there is often too many choices, the environment is cluttered, people are pressed for time, and we're managing a budget. So through the shop, people are continually trying to navigate, find the products they're looking for. They're assessing new products and trying to determine whether they're relevant or engaging. They're looking at ingredients. Is it gluten-free? Does it contain sugar? Is it low fat? Packaging. Do I want big? Do I want small? Am I going to waste this? Will it be enough? Value. Value could be price, but it could also be quality, or the balance between function and price. And ultimately, time. Okay? So context is the whole environment that people are operating in. And then the third thing is how people are thinking. Now, Daniel Kahneman wrote a book, Thinking Fast, Thinking Slow. Okay? And he talks about 2 mindsets, System 1 and System 2. System 1 is what he termed your lizard brain. This is the part of your brain that allows you to make decisions very, very quickly. Okay? Usually they're low-risk type decisions. They're intuitive. They're driven by your heuristics that you've built up over time around your experiences, your education, a whole lot of things. Okay? The other side of the thought pattern is System 2. System 2 is the more considered response. It tends to be higher risk, or involve higher spend, for example, if you're buying a house and so on. The reality is 80+% of decisions in grocery are made in System 1. That's how we get through a supermarket in less than 2 days, with all the choices that you've got, and you get out in 30 minutes. So, if you understand who you're talking to, the context and the mindset, Then you need to understand how your strategies will win within that environment, okay? So I've already highlighted that 80 to 90% of decisions are made in System 1. Context is important, so understand how your product or whether it's fresh produce or whether it's manufactured goods, but how is it going to be seen and noticed within that environment to convert people to purchase? Marketers tend to focus on building brand health or brand love with consumers, but it's the shopper who makes the decision. So, understanding how all that falls together, where your product is, the flow, the price, how it interacts with the competitors, is all a key determinant of your success in the store. So as I said, this is relevant whether it's fresh produce or whether it's a manufactured good like wine, cheese, packaged goods like eggs, even though they're fresh, all sorts of things. So I'll give you an example of the types of environments we build and the sense of reality that is created. So you can see we create the environment of the supermarket. You can see the reality, the realism of the produce. As the person touches the fruit moves and rolls. You can drop it, it'll roll on the floor, you can pick it up. As he picks up the packaging, you'll see the clarity of the packaging, how the produce moves in the packaging, all sorts of things, okay? All of these things are really, really important to creating those three things or addressing those three things that I talked about around context, thought process, okay? So within that, we start thinking about once you're determining your strategies around packaging or launching a product, or even if you're managing an existing product about how you grow it, the first thing is your place on the shelf. And the key question is, can consumers find your product, okay, within all of the plethora of different products? The second one is, does your packaging or new product engage consumers? And once they've engaged and picked it up, will it convert to sales to drive revenue? Or does your pricing strategy able to engage and win with consumers against the competitor offering? All of these things drive engagement, purchase, and so on, and ultimately are the key drivers of revenue growth. So how do we do this? Shopper360 is an immersive platform where we build the store and we're able to then put participants through it as you would with any normal research protocol. And people are then asked to go on a shopping mission. As they go through that shopping mission, we measure every 10th to 100th of a second of what they do, where they walk, where they pause, how long they pause, what they look at, what they pick up, what they put back, and ultimately what they buy, okay? By accumulating all that data, we also overlay eye tracking technology, so we're able to do heat maps on shelves to determine where people looked on the shelf versus your product. And through our protocol, we take a subset out and we interview people around their shop. So we start probing them on why they did certain things. But instead of claimed behaviour, where you open it up to, they tell you what they think they would do, you're able to talk about why you did this, okay? By accumulating all that data, we get a sense of what would happen if you launched this in the real market that's data-based and qualitative-based. And ultimately, that allows us to predict what would happen if you were to do this in the physical world, okay? Now, the key point is this replicates a store trial, and everybody would say, well, why not just do a store trial? Well, for anybody who works with retailers, you know that it's very difficult to get agreement to do a store trial. It's also expensive because you need to create the physical assets, whether it's the product, the merchandising systems, and so on. You have to secure a number of stores to be able to have test stores and control stores. And then when you get the data, there's usually arguments over, was there bad weather that week that you were doing the trial? Did the store execute the initiative as you agreed? Was there construction going on outside? All sorts of things. By doing it in the virtual world, we're able to isolate all those variables. We're able to execute what needs to be executed, either as a single initiative or as a bundle, and be able to see the difference in how shoppers behave and capture that data to then provide analytics around what the outcome would be. So this is a standoff view, obviously. This is not immersive. If you were in that headset, it would be fully immersive. But as you can see, as the person can move down the aisle using the trolley, they're able to essentially go down the aisle, they're able to look at the different products, compare prices, pick up products, examine them, put them back, and then put them in the shelf or purchase them. And as I said, our system captures every 1/10 of a second of the behaviour, plus what was purchased at what price point. So we're able to determine revenue, sales units, margin, market share, and a number of other behavioural metrics. This is what we can use the technology for. So we start with a category mapping process. So again, if you're a cheese manufacturer, we would take people through the cheese category, get them to shop and determine how they make decisions. We call it decision tree analysis. Then off the back of that, we develop strategies with our clients where we're able to identify whether it's a new product, new planogram, or range and assortment decision. We run shoppers through it, collect the data, and then off the back of that, we can start testing specific initiatives from a strategy perspective, whether it's products, planograms, price strategies, promotional effectiveness, store layout and design if you want to change the aisles. So we work with both retailers and manufacturers. And ultimately, the tool's really powerful in being used as a collaboration tool. Bring retailer and manufacturer together to talk about different hypotheses about how to grow the category, particularly if you're the category captain of that category, and then be able to test multiple hypotheses that in the real world would either be operationally difficult or expensive, and you'll be able to get data on those to then maybe go to market with one pilot or roll out an initiative. And this is my final slide. So obviously I've talked a lot about the upfront application of the VR, where we collect the data from individual initiatives, whether that's around product innovation, packaging, pricing strategies. Once we test, we get the data that I mentioned, so sales revenue, units, and so on. That data can then be applied across the business. So you can start talking about business plan inputs, so calculating return on investment on major capital investment for certain products. You can talk about S&OP, which is a big issue, obviously, around wastage. So how, if you know or have some data that can be input into the demand element of supply and operational planning, then that obviously helps you make decisions around reducing waste. I talked about customer collaboration, and then there's staff training, which you can see around the pavilions. There's a lot of applications, great applications around training. So I hope I've been able to open your mind around how VR can be used to win with shoppers in the retail environment. If you'd like to hear more, we've got a booth around the back corner there, or you can contact me directly. Thank you very much.